Hi everyone, I just wanted to talk to you about something that I found fascinating this morning when I was out checking my Plumeria. So I've had some Plumeria that are blooming here in the front yard that we moved from the backyard when we had our open house, and also when we had that tour from the USF's Botanical Garden Plant Society. So I came out and some of these limbs were like laying over, like like they're just completely laying over like that. And I thought, what is going on? So I started looking at the various bloom heads on each of the varieties that were having this issue. And I said, well, first of all, I got to go get some bigger stakes and stake them up. So this is Majestic from Florida Colors, and she's just got these. Actually, this inflow isn't as big as it was. It started to, fall off, but a couple of weeks ago she was even bigger. And then same thing over here. She had a big bloom head and still does. This is a nice one, but it was even bigger than that. And she's actually got another one coming. Look at that little baby inflow in there. That's what an inflow looks like when it's first starting out. And then this one too, this is the one that we're still trying to identify because she's basically annoyed right now. But she was completely tipped over like this. And Mary Helen Egenberger was having issues even. Like she kept falling over and I had to come pick the plant up. So what am I trying to get to? This is what I'm trying to get to. My husband doesn't even know this yet. And he's behind the camera. What I finally figured out is when we switched last summer to a different soil mix, and what I mean by that is we use 3 parts, right? If you watched our seedling video, you know that we use mini pine bark, we use perlite, and we use a well-draining soil. And we used to just buy a normal brand, it's Kellogg's brand, it was the pink bag, and we knew that it wasn't moisture retaining. And they did fine, but then I've got some inside information from my friend in Alabama who told me about a lady named Laura, starts with a D. She lives out in Texas. She said, Julie, my friend in Alabama telling you, said, Julie, did you know that she gets the most beautiful large bloom heads, and she uses a more expensive soil called Ocean Forest, which is made by the company Fox Farm. So I said, you know what, I'll check into it. And when I did, I'm like, well, I can see why most people might not want to consider it because it is kind of expensive. Sorry for that noise. So it is kind of expensive, but I thought, is it worth it? Let's do a trial. Well, what I realized is all of these Plumeria that had these gigantic bloom heads that weren't supported well enough with stakes, all were up potted last summer during our experiment with Ocean Forest from Fox Farm. So how do I know that? Because they're all in 7 gallons. And I know that when we jumped up to 7 gallons, and I can tell by looking at the soil, that these were 3 of the ones that we did. And they're the ones that have the largest, most prolific, vigorous blooms. So yes, am I doing a plug for that soil? I am. And maybe you can't afford to do it or use it on every single Plumeria that you have, depending on your collection and how vast it is. But at least your special ones that are important to you, you might want to consider it. Do a little experiment. Buy one bag and substitute it out for what you normally use and see what happens. Because I'm the type of grower, I like to share when I have things that are working well for me. I know some of you know other growers that wouldn't do that because they like to keep their trade secrets close to the vest, but I'm not a big seller. I'm a boutique seller. I have one-offs, maybe twice a year. I have an open house. I might sell 40 plants throughout the whole season. So I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm not trying to compete. I really enjoy collecting and growing more than I do selling. So I don't mind sharing these secrets with you all. So try it and tell me what happens. Send me a message. I'd love to hear. Have a great day.